Cool, man. Dating's hard too when you're broke. Yeah, like I just got out of a pretty bad relationship because it was hard because I was broke and she had a lot of money. You know, she's very well off. I miss her. Miss her a lot. No, I had to be smooth though. Even though I was broke, I had to be smooth. I had to be clever. I'd figure it out. Like one day for our first Christmas, right? I was like, hey baby, you know what I'm saying? Every year for Christmas, I like to do bigger and better things. I like to outdo myself, you know what I'm saying? If I get you a car one year, I'm gonna get you a bus the next year because I like going to that next level, you know what I'm saying? So baby, for this first year, I'm not gonna get you anything because I gotta build, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta build. And Christmas came around, she's like, baby, where's my present? And I was like, baby, I'm sorry, I'm broke. I couldn't get you anything. And she was like, well, you could have got something that wasn't too expensive. And I was like, what does broke mean to you? Like, there's nothing in my bank account. There's nothing in there. And she was like, well, then who bought this Xbox? And I was like, baby, that's Jesus' Xbox. It's his birthday coming up. And you worried about me. That's our Lord and Savior. It's crazy, man. Relationships are hard, man. They really are. They're difficult. I actually learned that by reading the Bible. Like I was reading those stories and I was like, dang, I bet all these people had really hard relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like I bet Mary and Joseph had a real hard relationship, you know? I bet Joseph was so excited about that bar and he got married. I bet he was like, hey baby, look, I know there's no more room in the hotel, right? But I got this new place, it got a petting zoo and everything, baby. It's gonna be fly. And Joseph's like, Mary, close your eyes. And Mary's like, oh my God, Joseph. Joseph, you're so crazy. Oh my God. And he was like, ready, baby? 1, 2, 3. Really, Joseph? This is the best you could do, Joseph, for real? Really? That's why this ain't your baby. You gotta read your Bible for that one. I know some of you guys. It's pretty dope. I'm the youngest dry bar comic, which is super cool, 22. Yeah. I didn't do anything for that, I just lived. But yeah, the last dude was 24, but I won, I beat him. It's cool, yeah. I've been doing stand-up since I was 11 years old. I've been doing it for 10 years, yeah. So this past, thank you again, thank you. I'm a prodigy, you're right. This past year I actually had the opportunity to tour with a comic named Sinbad. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. He's really popular in like the 40s, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure some of you guys heard of him. Going on tour with him was really hard because there was a big age difference in the crowds. You know, like most of his audience is like 40 plus. And so it's hard because I'm a millennial too, you know? And so being a millennial is hard alone. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. And I don't care either, that's the problem. So I could care less. But I realized like how much stuff I didn't know that you guys went through. And I say you guys because I see some people in here who are, seasoned. There's some experience in here is what I'm trying to say. Like who in here is over 40? That's what's up. Again, there's more in here, but that's okay. I can see you. I can see you.
Big shout out to all the that came in here with white women, with the with the white girls represent. You know I'm talking to you. Raise your hand. This ain't TV. I see you. This looking at me like he about to change the channel. This is confrontational. Ain't nothing wrong with it, baby. It's 2016. Sometimes you need a little interracial love in your life. I don't even know why some people still get caught up into that. Like I know some black women, not all of y'all, but some of y'all. Some of y'all get upset when you see brothers with white girls. Y'all like to call out in public and embarrass them. Don't do that. It's unnecessary. As soon as you see a nigga with a white girl, you want to call them out. You. Fuck you doing with that white bitch? It's like, are you gonna? I don't do that. All right then. Hello, white girl. Black women, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Every now and then, you need to get his lick. I'm just saying. And we know there's certain shit black women do not do. I ain't licking your. What if it feel good? You clench up your my hair get caught in your shit. I'm not finna loot. And to the white women that don't know, this is what black women do when they weave. It's just how they scratch it. Some of y'all looking at me like, oh my God, why is he patting his head? So the next time you go to work and you see one of your black female coworkers doing that, you're gonna already know, oh my God, you're itching. No. The told me, you're itching. Come here, Dashika. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can't just randomly walk up to a black woman and start patting her head. Don't do that. What's your name, love? Sierra? God, you plucked straight from the tree, didn't you? That's a pure white right there. God, it's like uncut. That's pure. She probably told all her girlfriends, you know, they're giving these away at Walmart. On Black Friday, it's a steal. Let me ask you a question, Sierra. What's something you didn't know about black men prior to him that when you got with your first black man, you found out some of our secrets and you had to tell your girlfriends like, oh my God, girl, they wear so much cocoa butter and grease. They like to with nothing but their ankle socks on. Every naked with white ankle socks. We trying to murder. We need grip. What's your name, dog? Mario. Put some bass in your voice. You represent for all of us. You're supposed to say that like your was heavy. Mario. Like you move shit in a wheelbarrow. I'm gonna it out this. As soon as I get home, I'm gonna uncoil it. Mario, you guys incorporate the race game in your life? You have fun racially? You do that? You got to, dog. Don't make sense to date outside your race if you're not gonna play the race card. What's the point? I'm gonna give you some advice. If you ever feel like your relationship is getting stagnant, you gotta shake it up racially. So one day when you're on your way home from work, call your white gal up and be like, look, babe, I'm on my way home. Do me a favor, leave the kitchen window halfway open. Be making some cookies. And you come up behind her with a ski mask, like, put some more chocolate chips. She act like she don't know you, but she read about you in the paper. Oh my God, it's chocolate chip cookie. I understand your plight, Mario. There's advantages to dating white women. I gotta go out to you with a white girl at least once a month, because white women pay for shit. I go out to you with a white girl, the bill come, I try to pull my wallet out, she get offended. Aries, no. No! Put your damn wallet away. It's my treat, besides, it's Black History Month. Your people have struggled long enough, you shouldn't struggle. I go out to you with a black woman, the bill come, we looking at the bill and looking at each other. Like two cowboys facing off at noon. Ooh. Listen, I joke about it, but it, man, you ain't gotta hear me say it to know what to do it. You're already doing it. Love who you love, do what you do. What other people think. Life is short, be happy, baby. I don't give a fuck if people date interracially. I just wish they would be honest about why they do it. Because anytime you ask somebody why they date outside their race, they always give you that same generic answer. Well, first of all, I don't see color. I'm just with whoever makes me happy. Which is because 9 times out of 10, when you date outside your race, you usually tend to date that race exclusively, which means color is exactly what you see. But just be honest, there's a natural curiosity. If you're white and you date white, there's no mystery there. You know what comes with being white. And some white women are bold enough to be honest with you. They tell you the truth. It's just something about black men that turn me on. It's just something different. And I get it, black men, we got style, charisma, flavor, swagger, the way we walk, the way we talk. We got a certain cool that come with being a It's automatic. I hear some of you white girls talk about us in the clubs with your girlfriends. Oh my God, Becky. Look at the way his body moves to the beat. He's so in sync with the rhythm. It's like it's tribal. I bet you me, he's like an angry loose monkey. Just me with that huge me dry with those huge ladle lips. White women, we talk about y'all the same way. We see a badass white bitch, we tap our boy. Oh, nigga, look at that white bitch. I bet you she looks sexy as hell at the bank filling out them loan documents. I bet you her FICO score is through the roof. She could co-sign an Escalade for oh. Same kind of fantasy.
I'm such a fan of this place. I've had so many messy memories here. I fell in love here. It started like any classic love story. We were on mushrooms. And I don't think I'll ever do mushrooms here again. New Orleans is spooky when you're sober. Like, it's scary enough. I've seen real estate signs that in all caps say, haunted. Like, you're very upfront about it. It's like, yeah, this is a one-bedroom apartment, but you won't be alone. So we were on mushrooms, and we were trying to make out in my hotel room. Failed miserably. I don't know if anyone else has tried to make out on psychedelics. I had a hard time figuring out whose face belonged to who. So we stopped. And in the morning, we discussed our experiences, and I said that I felt like the door was wide open in our room, and there was a third presence, like a third person there. And he said the exact same thing. Which means a pervert died in that hotel, and his unfinished business was to watch us hook up. And that terrifying realization actually brought us closer together, and that was essentially the beginning of our relationship. So I just want to find that ghost and be like, you can rest now. My boyfriend and I just had our 2-year anniversary. Yeah. I think we'll give it another 2 years before we call it quits. It's hard. Relationships are hard. And I know they take a lot of work to be successful and healthy, but I feel like I'm doing most of the work because I'm fixing him. And I don't want to be one of these girlfriends that's like, I need to change my man. I need to fix him. Because I love him the way he is, but everything he does is wrong. And I need to change him. I like for people to take their shoes off when they enter my home. And he does that for the most part. But sometimes he forgets. And I have wood floors and a big rug in the living room. And we were about to leave the house, and he goes, babe, I have my shoes on, but don't worry, I'm standing on the rug. And I was like, what logic are we working with? When he saw the wood floors, did he see lava? And I explained to him, like, no, babe, I don't want people to bring their shoes into my home because I don't want them to track dirt in. That gives me more to clean up. And he looked at me like I was explaining new math. Just never occurred to him. And I also can't tell if I'm fixing him for me or for his next girlfriend. Because if we break up and he starts dating somebody else, he's gonna take his shoes off at the door. And she's gonna be like, he's so clean. He's so conscientious. No, bitch, that was me. I did that. If you feel like you're currently dating Mr. Perfect and he does everything right, you should thank all the exes who came before you for all the hard work they put in. Anything that you see a man do that's considerate, he's doing it because at one point in time, he made a mistake, and then some woman yelled at him. And if you're not laughing, it's because you're currently being yelled at. And you're welcome.
Dating, it's complicated because, like, I don't want to do online dating apps, right? Because I feel like people on those apps are on there because they want to meet other people. And I don't really want to meet people who want to meet other people, right? I want to meet people who don't want to meet other people. Then they meet me who also doesn't want to meet other people. Then we fall in love the old-fashioned way, totally by accident. We're both least expecting it. We both have been too hurt to possibly love again, but we fall in love despite ourselves. Then we get married. Then we have 3 kids. Then we get a divorce and live happily ever after. That's the kind of real love I want. I did meet a guy in real life once. It was kind of a funny story because I went to the bookstore and I saw one of these books, like these self-help books, and it was called The Struggle is Real. Right? And on the cover was this hot guy, with cool tattoos and cool horn-rimmed glasses, and I was like, really? The struggle is real for that guy? What did he have to struggle with? Did they put 2% in his oat milk latte once? Did his bird scooter run out of battery? I don't understand what this guy ever struggled with. So I made fun of it. I was with a friend and I was kind of roasting it for a while. And then I went and did some shows in Minnesota. And after one of my shows, this guy came up to me after, and he was kind of cute, and he was like, hey, do you want to get a drink? You were really funny. And I was like, sure. So we got a drink, and we had a really good time. And then we got excited, and we friended each other on all the social media platforms. And I saw that it was the struggle is real guy. I was like, what? This is crazy. So then, over a course of a couple weeks, we were flirting, and he was liking my posts on Twitter, and he was watching my Instagram stories and texting me, and we were doing all the different things, right? It was whoa, we really like each other. And we were gonna meet up and everything. But then over some time, he kind of stopped texting me as much, but he was still liking my tweets and watching my stories. And then he stopped tweeting altogether and stopped texting, but he was still watching my stories. So I was like, okay, we're still together, But then he just stopped all of it, just cold turkey. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird, right? I thought we had something, we had chemistry. So then I did a little research. It's called research when you know the person. Stalking is if you don't know them. So I did some research, and I found out he was on a podcast, and on this podcast, he said that some girl slid into his DMs, and I was like, well, I didn't slide into his DMs, so that wasn't me. So I texted him, I was like, you could have told me you met somebody, it's cool, it's fine, we only had a drink, but, you could have told me, and he's like, I didn't meet anyone, I was so whatever. And so then I unfollowed him, I unfriended him, I stopped texting, and then he unfollowed me and unfriended me, and I was like, well, that's very immature, And then I was like, I felt so hurt, right? Because I was like, I feel really rejected, and I don't understand why. So I have to learn something from this, right? Because I only had one drink with this guy, so I don't understand why I feel so upset about it. It really seems a little unfounded. So I thought about it, and I was like, I realize the 2 things I learned from this experience are, one is, if you do get to meet someone in real life, don't friend each other on all the social media platforms, right? Because it's just a way to be rejected on all the social media platforms. It's so many different ways to be rejected. You're rejected on Twitter, rejected on Instagram, rejected. So I was like, I'm never doing that again, right? If I meet someone, I'm just gonna be like, we are not social media friends. It's never happening. And the other takeaway was, I was like, you can actually judge a guy by his book cover.
Last piece of advice is that who we hang out with outside of our dating world is extremely important, especially after a breakup. Because after a breakup, we tend to date down, right? And we need our friends to be our radar. Here's the deal. After a breakup, you're not going to go after the Margot Robbies and the Chris Evans anymore. That's what I call the Mount Everest. You just got your heart broken. You're going to lower it, play it a little safer. You're going to be hanging around like Mount Whitney or Half Dome, okay? Or if you're like me, who plays it really safe after a breakup, parking lot of Chipotle, okay? So basically, I'm dating Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings at this point, okay? Because he's not gonna leave, right? So I had just gone through this huge breakup, And I called my girlfriends and I was like, I know I'm still healing, but it's been 24 hours and I met this one guy and he's really weird, but he's kind of nice and I think he's the one. And they were like, you need to bring him to the bar right now. And I was like, well, it's a little late at night. And they're like, bring him to the bar. And I was like, okay. So we walk into the bar. Here I am dragging in fucking Gollum, okay? Dragging in Gollum and 60 seconds, guys, no more than 60 seconds. My girlfriends have come up, separated us, sent him home in a lift, grabbed me a Sauvignon Blanc, sat me down and said, girl, we need to work on this self-esteem because this shit ain't happening again, okay? Yes. I did have to stop hanging out with this group of married women because they made me feel bad. Well, they made me feel bad while simultaneously complaining about being married. Like, their biggest complaint was, we have to have sex all the time. They always want to have sex. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm sorry. The women that are complaining about sex have diamond rings on their finger. I'm over here doing Debbie Does Dallas in a hot tub with a guy named Tico, and he won't even accept my Facebook friend request. You know what I mean? Now, when I turned 36, I had the best handle on my life. I was in therapy. I was in the best shape of my life. I was making 6 figures doing what I love, and I was dating a higher caliber of man. I'm talking about the kind of guy who tells other people you're their girlfriend. In Los Angeles! You have to dig for these fuckers, but they're there! It was going great, and I actually was dating this one guy. Very briefly, he called it quits, and that's fine, because now I had new tools to self-soothe, okay? I wasn't gonna sleep around or drink my way through every bar. Instead, I could go hiking, I could meditate, and I could call my therapist. Yes, and that lasted for 2 whole weeks.